Did you know that the Assigned Counsel Division audits every invoice the state public defenders receive? Efficient billing strategies can help ensure that your invoices do not get rejected and are timely processed. I'm Christopher Shattuck, the State Bar of Wisconsin's Law Practice Assistance Manager, and today I'm joined by Kathleen Pakes, who oversees the Assigned Counsel Division for the Wisconsin State Public Defenders. Kathleen, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Chris.
So as we were talking before the meeting, you had some general advice regarding efficient billing strategies, and then also had some information about how the SPD treats these invoices. Would you mind sharing some of that information?
Sure. The Assigned Counsel Division oversees over 1,000 private lawyers that partner with our agency to provide indigent defense. We're a taxpayer-funded agency. We receive an appropriation from the legislature for the biennium. Part of the Assigned Counsel Division is certifying attorneys, but also in approving their invoices and reimbursing them for the work that they have provided to our clients.
Excellent. And I guess, as a practice tip for those out there submitting their invoices, I know that you all go through and you audit every invoice. So what slows the auditing process down when attorneys submit their invoices?
The main issues that we see are attorneys, they can be terrible reporters. So I think the best way to get paid quickly and what makes it the easiest for us to audit invoices is when attorneys are accurately reporting and they're providing sufficient information for us to make sure that the time that they have billed is representative of the task that they're doing. And also attorneys make mistakes, and really they should be reviewing these invoices before submitting them.
And that entails, making sure that the correct mileage is listed, ensuring that the correct court date is listed, and then also providing information to support the time that is billed.
Sure, all of that, that's correct. And for example, we may see an invoice entry for 5 hours for a hearing, such as a bail review hearing, that we know shouldn't take 5 hours. We assume the attorney meant probably 0.5 hours and through error or oversight submitted the wrong entry because they didn't review the bill prior to submitting it. The problem on our end is when we see that entry, we can't pay it and we have to send it back for clarification. And sometimes there is a reason for the entry, but a lot of times it is an error. The attorney has to correct it and submit it back through the system. All of that takes time and it slows up the payment processing.
So it's really on the attorney to make sure that their day-to-day timekeeping has accurate records that are maintained and submitted. I know that your website provides a ton of guidance regarding keeping contemporaneous records and ensuring that those records are kept for a sufficient period of time. Do you have any additional advice on the contemporaneous record keeping?
Well, I think most attorneys are keeping contemporaneous records. It's the most efficient way to bill your cases, and most of us can't go back in time at the end of a case and remember everything we did. So part of the reason for that requirement is to help attorneys that aren't already doing it be better reporters and better billers. And it's also, there's also a client-centered, when the clients come back later, the clients may want to know what their attorney did on the case. And it's in the best interest of the attorneys and the agency to have that track record to show that they had a lawyer that was working on their case along the way.
Yes, that's a great point, because if there is some sort of appeal after the initial stage, then those accurate records will help show the work and the work product that the attorney tried to produce in defense of the client. So that is great information for that. Let's dive into some common areas that might also cause attorneys' bills to be rejected. From my understanding and looking at the information that's on your website, if there is reimbursements that are needed outside of attorney fees or expert investigation costs, there is prior approval that is required. Can you kind of explain that process and what you all are looking for in that regards?
Sure. In many cases, it's not enough for the attorney to handle the case entirely on his or her own, they may need, for example, to retain an expert. Perhaps it's a motor vehicle accident is involved and they need an accident reconstructionist. We're not an open checkbook at the state public defender. So before attorneys retain an expert and before they pay that expert, we require them to submit a request for prior approval for funding. And we do that again because we are taxpayer funded. We have a budget. We have to stay within that budget. We can't. And so we're very prudent about the requests that come in, and we analyze and scrutinize those requests. We try to honor them as much as we can, and we do honor most requests, but we also let the attorneys know that there are limits, and then when they're contracting with the experts, they have to stay within the budgetary restraints that we have approved.
Yes, and your website lists some helpful information, such as requesting that the attorney work with the expert to hold them, he or her, to their original estimate, and then also working with some of the other resources that are out there to help identify these experts who oftentimes, as I understand, will agree to cut their rate for assigned counsel division cases. Is that correct?
Some experts, many experts have not just the assigned counsel division, but many experts have a private pay fee schedule, and then they have a government fee schedule. So we always remind the private bar to make sure that they're requesting the government fee schedule and that their expert realizes that even though they are a private attorney, it's for a public defender case.
Excellent. That is helpful information. And if attorneys are interested in taking on SPD appointments, or they would like to become certified to take on SPD appointments, what's the best process for them to do that?
Thank you for that question. I get it all the time. I prefer that they should go to our website, number one, because as you've alluded, there is a lot of information on the website. We have all of the applications for becoming certified, and the requirements for certification are listed on the website. The applications can be filled in online, they're fillable, and then they can submit them right to ACD with the appropriate paperwork. We also have all of our billing contract and our billing policies and procedures listed out on the website. So the first step is to go to the website, review that information, and then people can contact me directly if they have further questions after reviewing that information.
That's great. And that website is a wealth of knowledge as I was looking through it in preparation for this interview. Is there anything else that you see as kind of a common occurrence, or a common mistake, or best practice advice that you would have to give to attorneys in submitting their invoices?
Okay. Yes, it's the contemporaneous billing, and I tell people, or we tell the attorneys, when your case is done and it's ready to get billed, get those invoices out the door and get them in the pipeline, right? Now, I'm an attorney. None of us like doing administrative work. We don't like compiling the invoice and submitting it and getting it in so it sits on our desk. And that's never a good practice. I think the better practice is to do things as they come in, and as they get finished, submit it, because it does take us a while to process. There's not an immediate turnaround, and attorneys usually bill when the case has concluded. So they've waited a long time to get paid. They don't need to wait any longer. They need to get it in, get it out, and then we'll process it.
Excellent. Well, Kathleen, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy trial schedule and providing these resources and information to attorneys, which will help assist them in making sure that they are submitting their invoices efficiently.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for letting us have the opportunity to put this out there.
Absolutely. Thank you.